What's going on, YouTube? What is going on? What is happening, man? Of course, it's your guy one more time, DEDRICKHJR, and I'm back with another fragrance video. Smell good, family. Hopefully everyone is doing well, doing great, doing fantastic. Positive energy, positive vibes. Y'all know how we rock out here on this channel, man. Positive vibes only. All right, so today, Smell good, family, we're back with some designer fragrance talk, and these designers that we're going to be talking about today, they don't get talked about a lot. They have been talked about at some point. And to be honest, this is for people who are starting their fragrance journey, or they're trying to figure things out, and they've gotten to know the popular brands who have the popular fragrances, if you guys know what I mean. So some of you guys might be watching this video today and say, I heard of those fragrances. I've seen plenty of people talk about those. Keep in mind, Fragcom is a small community that is growing, and there are some that are watching this video who are going to find this information quite interesting, enlightening, and maybe provoke some discovery on their part. There's thousands of fragrances in the world, and the levels to them is a legit thing. It's a realistic conversation that's always happening in Fragcom. But these 8 fragrances are underrated. They're not really that popular. I think they're really good, and maybe there should be some consideration for those interested to get your sample, go out to your department store if they're available there, and see if you vibe with them or not. All right, so just because I vibe with something doesn't mean you will, but I got a pretty good feeling that some of these will get some thumbs up from some of you out there, if you've already experienced it, or you will be in the immediate future or in the future in general. So up first, this fragrance is one that's even new to my collection, and this is stellar stuff, and I love it. One of the most clean fragrances that I've ever come across, ever, from the house of Atlas. All right, Atlas. From the house of Tumi, we have Atlas. Love everything about this fragrance. I love the bottle. I love the blue wording. I love everything about the cap. It's kind of gimmicky, but it's cool. But this is clean, man. Clean, soapy vetiver, earthy tones in here, little nice fresh spice, musk. This is just an everyday workhorse for those out there just looking for something to get the job done. You don't want to be a part of Fragcom. You just want something that smells great, that's clean, you can wear for any occasion, and has some unique ability to it. And I'm not saying this is an ultra unique fragrance, but the blend here is really good. It's really good, and Tumi has really been stepping their game up over the past year or so with their last few releases. And I'm not even quite sure when this released, but it just got my attention not too long ago, and this is fire. I am going to call it underrated when you're talking about your other vetivers, like your great vetivers, your Narciso Rodriguez's, your Manceras, Vetiver Sensual. This is one that needs to be in that conversation, in my opinion, because this is good. Underrated for sure, not popular, but really good. From the house of Tumi, we have Atlas. This is good. Oh, there we go. They're getting focused. This stuff is good. All right, up next. Now, I've raved about this one over the past couple of months, and this had been out for, I think, a year or maybe even a couple of years, but I just got my nose on this about a couple of months ago, and I had to have it right away, especially with my infatuation with leather these days. From the house of Salvatore Ferragamo, we have Intense. Almost dropped the bottle. Intense leather. Now, you guys heard me talk about this fragrance over the past few weeks, and leather is a polarizing note that a lot of people can get with, and there's a lot of people who can't get with it. But this is a fun leather, fruity leather. That apple leather combo here, it's just nice. It has a lot of cleanliness to this fragrance, freshness to this fragrance. It's not an intimidating leather. This is something that can be worn pretty much year round. I wouldn't wear it in the high heat if you're going to be outside, but it can definitely be worn in the summer if you're moving around to different events or different things. It's going to be an office staple for me, but the line in general I think is underrated. But this one right here, I see no one talking about, like nobody. I might have seen 1 or 2 other reviewers here on YouTube discuss this fragrance, but that's really it, just what my eyes have seen. Some of you may have seen others discuss it, but it's not a lot of talk about this. If you're into leather and leather's not an issue for you, check this one out, because there's different variations of leather we know. And even if you're not into leather, maybe you're curious about leather, I would recommend trying this fragrance. It's in your local department stores. Go get your nose on it and see what you think. But the red apple, I believe it is, and the leather in here really do a really nice dance from the house of Salvatore Ferragamo. Underrated, not popular, but I think it's really good. We have intense leather. Intense leather. Fire stuff here for sure. All right, up next, this literally came and went. Literally came and went. The line is popular. There's a new one out, the Elixir version, that is super popular. But this one came and went, and it's most likely my favorite from the line. From the house of Hugo Boss, we have the Scents Le Parfum. This one came and went. Now, I am aware that this one is a little bit harder to get. Oh my God, but yeah, this is the best that I have encountered in the line. And Absolute is great. That used to, between this and Absolute, it's like 1 and 2. Proper Accord is a classic. But this one here has that iris in there, and it's a powdery iris, and it blends really well with the manica fruit and the ginger. And there's a vanilla in here as well. It's sweet. It's sexy and attractive. And there's things about this that I don't get with Private Accord, I don't get with Absolute, and that is that iris, which I'm a fan of. So I could be biased because of the iris, but this is really, really good stuff. It ain't popular. It came and went. As a matter of fact, I got my bottle. It was either eBay or Amazon. The few times I've ever touched eBay or Amazon, I'm not quite sure, but I don't see anything. So again, I'm aware that this is potentially hard to get. But if you're into the scent line and you're into more sweeter fragrances, I would recommend getting your nose on this. Even if you're not an iris fan, this is not an earthy iris. This is not a iris that's gonna run you away. It comes off powdery, it comes off attractive, and it comes off inviting. There's a touch of warmth to this as well. No one discusses it. It ain't popular at all, but the line is. So if you're into the line, get your nose on this and see what you think. From the house of Hugo Boss, from the scent line, we have the Le Parfum. I am a fan, and I really enjoy this. Look at that. We got a nice dent in there for sure. We've had this for about a year now. It's really, really good. Up next, little to zero conversation about this. There was some conversation about this, kind of came and went. Didn't really stick around as one of those fragrances that, you know, you see a lot of conversation about, but it is fire, but it's not for everybody. From the house of Philip Plein, all right, we have No Limits. Shout out to my brother Cedric Farr, Tyrone Comple from Frag Boys ENT, who put me on this fragrance about 2 years ago. If you're into chocolate, you're gonna really appreciate this. It has an oud in here, leather in here, there's spices in here, there's sandalwood in here. There's a lot of notes in this fragrance for sure, but the chocolate and the oud combo is, it's really good. I only wear this during the cold. Like most people, well, not most people, some people do what they want in their fragrances, but I'm a situational fragrance wearer, very situational, and this is one that is situational. It's for the cold only. I'd wear this on date nights. I even wear this at the office sometimes if I'm in the mood for it. But nice chocolate, oud, spicy, leathery type of fragrance. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but this is fire. This is fire for the winter time specifically for sure. Not a lot of discussion. It ain't popular. It ain't a lot of noise with it. But it's really, really good. I recommend getting a sample of it. I don't know how readily available this is in your local department stores, but I recommend getting a sample. Great stuff for the winter time. Mature fragrance, in my opinion, but it also has its fun ties to it, and that's what that chocolate brings, that sex appeal, that fun nature to it for sure. From the house of Philip Plein, the bottle looks crazy. It's a black card, so to speak, but it's wild. But Philip Plein's No Limits. It's no conversation, but it's really good, really good. All right. Up next, again, another one where the line is super popular. The two of the fragrances of the line are probably top 10, and a lot of you guys is designer top 10s. You've seen those conversations continue on with those two, but not this one. But this is good. It kind of gets lost in the shuffle, but it's good. From the house of Salvatore Ferragamo, we have Uomo Urban Feel. I've talked about this here and there on this channel. I'm guilty of it as well, but every time I get my nose on it, it reminds me just how good this stuff is. You get this citrus, bergamot, lemon opening. There's some coffee in this fragrance as well. Some creamy sandalwood that gives it a nice base. Has some freshness to it. I believe there's some lavender in here as well. But it's just one of those fragrances that you can wear all year round. And then it suits for the office. It suits for maybe you and you know, the person you're with at the time, the person who you're kicking it with. Y'all going to do an early dinner or a late lunch, something like that. It's kind of maybe casual, kind of cool, not a lot of pressure. This would be a good situation for that. But at the end of the day, it just smells really, really good, and it's not popular. Not a lot of discussion. I've seen discussion of it, but not a lot. So if you're looking for something different, you're looking for something that kind of remove you from the popular table at lunch, so to speak, looking at this one for sure. Really good performance on this. On my skin, I get around 8 to 9 hours of solid performance. And I've had this for a couple of years now. Should have more conversation, but y'all know how it is in Fragcom. What's new? All right. From the house of Salvatore Ferragamo, we have Uomo's Urban Feel. Uomo Urban Feel. It's a good one. I like that glossy glass ceramic looking bottle. Really dope. All right. Up next, what this is mimicking or cloning or inspired by is super popular in the community. As a matter of fact, it's almost one of the holy grails for me. But this one is a really good interpretation of that DNA from the house of Mercedes-Benz. We have Mercedes-Benz Select Night. Select Night. So what is this mimicking for those who don't know? It is mimicking Tom Ford's Noir Extreme. And the difference between the two is this is a fresher take on it. You have a lot of lavender here. You get your vanilla in here. You get your sweetness. You get your fresh spicy tones in here. From what I remember, there isn't a coffee note in here, and that's the feature in the Noir Extreme and the Noir Extreme Parfum. DNA is that coffee note, that Indian dessert feel. I believe that's what it is, that Indian dessert sweetness that you get to that fragrance. It's not in here, but the vanilla in here kind of substitute for that, along with the sandalwood. So there's a nice cardamom in here as well. A lot of y'all are gonna like this pressurized atomizer here, and just getting it in the air. Just a reminder of how good it is. So a fresher take on the Noir Extreme DNA. This is really, really, really good. The theme of it being a nighttime fragrance, yes, I sign off on that. In my opinion, cozy, intimate, date night type of vibes. I don't really see this as being a t-shirt approved, white tea fragrance approved fragrance, something a little bit more intimate. And it smells really, really good, man. So very affordable. If you're not trying to spend that Tom Ford money, even on discounters, you can get this around that $40, $45 mark on discounters, but it ain't talked about. It's not really popular like that right now. Maybe in the past it has been, but right now it's not. From the house of Mercedes-Benz, we have Mercedes-Benz Select Night, and this one is good. I definitely recommend it for sure for those intimate date night, those sexy type of vibes that you guys are out there trying to create. All right. Up next, this house gets a lot of conversation because people say they just don't perform. We can talk about that at a different time, because just depends on what your situation is and what you got going on. But this one is lost in the DNA. Lost in the I guess in the line of all of the fragrances that the house has produced, but it's still a good one. From the house of John Varvatos, we got Johnny V XX. Now there's a charm that was on here, but it broke off. I dropped the bottle doing a recording a couple of years ago, and it broke off. But this one, red apple, tobacco, coffee. There's some floral touches in here. There's like a little slight mintiness in here. I think there's geranium in here. I don't think there's a clear mint note, but geranium in here, because that's what my nose picks up. But the red apple and the coffee here are the features. Slight tobacco tones to this, but this stuff is nice. During the fall, if y'all going out during the evening time, and y'all just kind of moving around, and you want to kind of, I ain't gonna say spice it up a bit, but you're not trying to go like a bubblegum scent or an Ambroxany balmy. You're not trying to do that. You're trying to have something a little bit different, have some sweetness, have some masculine touches to it. This is one to consider for sure. The bottle was fire too. That black glossy feel. Like I said, the charm broke off of the bottle. But all in all, very underrated. Not a lot of conversations about this fragrance. You get a lot of Johnny V talk for sure, but not this particular one. So if you like Valentino, like I think it's called Born in Roma with the tobacco and the red apple there, you'll like this too. This is kind of like the cousin of that fragrance, like the older cousin of that fragrance, because it has some dark tones to it as well. Really good. I get solid performance. I get around that 6 to 7 hour mark when I'm wearing it and I'm out and about in the world. You feel me? So good dress up fragrance, and it's a fragrance that you don't have to be too dressy if it's a little bit more chill. All right, so good stuff. Not popular, underrated, but I think it's really good. From the house of Johnny V, we got John Varvatos XX. And last but not least, I thought this fragrance was going to take off in the community. I really did. I thought this was going to be the next super popular, affordable designer fragrance, and it just didn't turn out to be so. But it's still fire. From the house of Zadig and Voltaire, we have This Is Him. Now, I know this one lately has been hard to get, because I was looking online to see what the price range for this would be on discounters, and it's just not readily available like that. But when it was available, I got my bottle for around $40. And what you get is this vanilla, this incense, you get a little citrus up top, there's a creamy sandalwood. It gives you vibes of Nishane Ani. In the top, there's like a not pink pepper, but like maybe a black pepper spice in here as well that I pick up. I haven't looked at the notes in quite a minute, but you still get that Ani vibe with this fragrance, but for a much cheaper price. This is an EDT concentration, so it's going to treat it as such. So you get about a good 6 hours, maybe 7 if you spray on a few more sprays. Those out there who love vanilla and you're not trying to, spend a lot of money like how Nishane Ani can be, even on discounters. If you can find this for a solid price, I would highly, highly recommend it. At one point in time, there was a lot of conversation about this fragrance, but you rarely see any, if any, content on this fragrance. And that's just the nature of Fragcom, right? It comes and it goes, unless it just kind of has that weight like a Dior Sauvage or a Bleu de Chanel or something like that. But this is fire, highly recommended. If you can get your nose on it, don't break the bank for this, but if you can get your nose on it for a good price, it's something to look into, especially if you love vanilla and incense. From the house of Zadig and Voltaire, we have This Is Him, the EDT. Like the bottle too, fire bottle, good stuff. All right, man, so those are 8 unpopular designer fragrances that just don't have the attention. There have been conversations about them for sure, but these days, not so much. So if you're looking for something different to get away from the popular brands, the popular fragrances, you don't want to be associated with that, but you're also trying to spend a decent amount of money to smell good and quite possibly different from those that are around you, I will look into those, especially on the designer level. They can definitely take care of business for sure. All right, so y'all let me know down below, what are some of the more underrated designer fragrances that you guys can recommend down below in the comments. Let's get the chat going with those recommendations, and I can't wait to see what you guys have to say for sure. So until next time, y'all be cool, be safe, take care of yourselves. Y'all know what it is, man. Positive energy, positive vibes. As always, keep in mind, man, let's keep the splat going. The Smegger family. Splack it up, splack it down, splack it that thing all around. And remember, what you put out to this world is exactly what you are going to get back. That's for sure. All right, appreciate the love, appreciate the support. We're almost at 17K. Crazy, man, it's crazy. But splack.